Coming up on the Loyola Student News Service.
The Battle of Liberty Place Monument has been taken down by the city. We'll tell you what residents are saying and what's next coming up.
Plus, the NFL draft starts tonight and hundreds of college football players' lives will soon be changed.
I go anywhere, I feel like anywhere I go, I give them my all 100% every day.
And there are big changes on Bourbon Street. See what this means for people working in the French Quarter, coming up. Hello, I'm Danielle Carbonari.
And I'm Anthony Alonji. It's one down and 3 to go. City officials have removed the first of 4 Civil War era statues.
Loyola News Service reporter Lester Dewey has been following this story and joins us now from our newsroom to explain how people are reacting.
That's right. Hey, Danny and Anthony. Workers dismantled the monument early Monday morning. According to New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu, the statue was originally erected in 1891 to honor members of the Crescent City White League, who in 1874 fought in the Reconstruction era Battle of Liberty Place against the racially integrated New Orleans police and state militia. Some residents are not happy with the move to take it down, but what's really causing concern is how it was done. New Orleans says goodbye to the Battle of Liberty Place monument.
We will no longer allow the Confederacy to literally be put on a pedestal in the heart of our city.
Despite what Mayor Landrieu says, opinions are as heated as ever.
Being a teacher, I would think that, kids should know about history and monuments.
My father is a descendant of PGT Beauregard, and his statue is near City Park. That's one of the ones they want to tear down. It's not right to erase history.
Now, right outside the Shops at Canal Street's public parking garage is what stood the Liberty Place monument. It was over 35 feet tall. But now, the only thing that remains is the pedestal that supported the monument. In the dark of night, workers wearing masks and tactical vests took down the monument, while snipers were positioned on nearby roofs. Company names on trucks and equipment were covered with cardboard to protect the contractors who were involved in the operation.
Yeah, they took them down, they carted it off, in and out in about 5 hours. It was really scary. It was like it stopped over the night.
Pictures now emerging are causing controversy, revealing possibly members of NOFD, including Chief McConnell, were involved in the removal process.
City representatives wearing masks and being under the cover of snipers to do some kind of dark deed, at nighttime. You have to ask yourself, what's next? If they're going to take these down, so these heroic figures, everything's game.
Leonard Johnson doesn't have an opinion and says it's time to move on.
I don't think they're going to bring it back and put it back in place. It's going to go down in history as a statue that was removed.
He never held a vote, ever!
He has a message for people on both sides of the issue.
If we don't let go of the past, we'll never get to the future. I live from my heart. And if everybody did that, then we wouldn't have these differences in life.
Now, there are 3 more monuments that are scheduled to be taken down, but because of death threats, the mayor is not giving an exact date. We should know more in the upcoming days. Back to you, Danny and Anthony.
While the Liberty Monument is already down, a group is calling for the widespread removal of other symbols they believe represent white supremacy.
Loyola News Service reporter Raymond Price has more on the group's demands.
On this list of structures targeted for removal or renaming, there are 7 schools, and one of them is McDonald 35 High School, named after John McDonald, a philanthropist, entrepreneur, and slave owner. There are some who believe that honoring a man who owned slaves humiliates and terrorizes black students.
You graduate with a diploma, and John McDonald's name is bigger than yours on the diploma. And you have to realize that you went to a school that praised a guy who held your ancestors in slavery. And to me, that is psychological terror.
Others disagree.
So, no, I didn't feel oppressed at all.
Joseph Hicks is a 1972 grad of McDonald 35. He says he can look past the fact that the school is named after a slave owner.
I don't think it had any reflection on the school because the concept that we learned was that McDonald 35 was one of the first black schools built. And actually it was built on that premise. And I don't get the idea of why about the thing of being oppressed.
For Hicks, the success of his hundreds of students throughout the years and his own legacy are more important than the school's name.
I've had a wonderful life at McDonald 35.
And you're thankful for it?
I am.
I reached out to the Orleans Parish School Board for a comment on the situation. They responded to me via email and said that at this time, the Orleans Parish School Board had not been notified of Take 'em Down NOLA's desire to change any of the school names in the city. And additionally, there are no changes to school names currently being considered. For the Loyola Student News Service, I'm Raymond Price. Back to you.
Along with the 7 schools, Take 'em Down NOLA is requesting that 24 streets and 2 hospitals be renamed and 8 additional monuments be removed.
This week, a major construction project began on Bourbon Street. Reporter Christian Bechel shows us how the work is affecting businesses in the French Quarter.
Traffic, parking, and noise are 3 things that people must face here in the French Quarter. According to Roadwork NOLA website, this construction will last 9 months.
They're kind of messing me up for the day.
Derek needs to get to other places for his job.
I gotta go to Napoleon House right up the street. They don't have the whole street. They just have one section they still collect calls through.
He realized that the traffic on Bourbon was bad. He went around the corner. He backs up his vehicle from Royal to Iberville Street. But there is a problem.
I'm an hour late for my stop.
Vehicles cross over Bourbon and Iberville. Trucks filled up the parking spots on Iberville Street. Derek couldn't park.
I couldn't get down this street. I couldn't get down Bourbon Street.
Derek is annoyed about the construction. Christian Bechel from the French Quarter.
The first phase of construction is expected to last until July.
Although the Americans with Disabilities Act mandates that Braille letters be on signs for permanent spaces, it wasn't until just this month that Loyola New Orleans has complied with the federal mandate, all because of an action by the Student Government Association. Reporter Danielle Garcia speaks with one student who is grateful for the change.
I have a condition called Fraser syndrome, and basically what it is I was born with literally no eyes.
Meet Sophie Trist, an English writing freshman at Loyola University.
I read books, I do homework.
She uses Braille to type on her laptop.
I can do everything on here.
And depends on it to help her find her classrooms. But when she arrived on campus last fall, one building didn't have Braille on the signs.
Bourbon was actually the only one that didn't.
Sophie said she counted each door from the stairs to find her classroom.
People are very nice and they'll help you out, but it's a matter of trying to be as independent as possible.
After talking with Disability Services and some members of SGA, they were able to push Physical Plant to make new classroom signs.
She interrupted my class and because she couldn't find hers. And so immediately I was like, okay, this is a problem. She has to deal with this every day.
With the new signs, Sophie is one step closer to equality.
No matter how different we are, there's things about us that are the same.
It is that idea that has led Sophie to fight for her quality learning experience. For Loyola News Service, I'm Danielle Garcia. Loyola honored dozens of students this week for their accomplishments both in and out of the classroom. The Department of Student Involvement hosted the 35th Annual Magis Student Leadership Awards on Tuesday. Magis is the Latin word for do more, and awards honor students and faculty members for their dedication to community service, social justice, and leadership. Student Program of the Year was Loyola's Dance Marathon, which benefited Children's Hospital.
The Loyola Symphony Orchestra is rehearsing this week for its performance on Sunday. Professional soprano Charita Covington is one of the featured artists. Student performers like cellist Jeffrey Wilson will also take the stage, and the audience will hear a piece composed by student Avery Bell. The concert begins Sunday at 3 p.m. in Roosevelt Hall.
Coming up, are you ready for Jazz Fest? Take a look ahead at our weather forecast to see how you need to prepare.
And later on, see how this Tulane football player took his training to the ballet studio.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
This is Allison Cousins. She has a successful business with her husband Jack Cousins selling salad dressing. But it wasn't always like that. Allison started with an amazing recipe and an idea to start a business. However, the cost and the process were scary on their own. Edible Enterprises was there to help. Edible Enterprises has professional-grade equipment, packaging supplies, and professional help to guide you through the process of starting a food-based business. Contact Edible Enterprises to help jumpstart your culinary career.
New research shows that 1 in 5 homeless youths are victims of human trafficking.
Colleen Dully joins us in the studio with one of the Loyola researchers who uncovered this information.
So we're here today talking with Lauren Stroh, who is a researcher with the Modern Slavery Research Project that is housed on Loyola's campus. Thanks for being here, Lauren.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about your new research project. What was the kind of premise behind it?
That's a great question. So we were partnered with Covenant House International, which is a satellite group of shelters for homeless youth, generally between the ages of like 17 to 22, I think on average. And they contracted us to do an extension of a study that we did in New Orleans 2 years ago that focused on the prevalence of human trafficking within homeless youth that were housed in that particular shelter. So over the past year, the researchers with the Modern Slavery Research Project were traveling across the US and Canada to 10 different shelters, conducting interviews and trying to just get data and more information about this issue.
And what were some of the things you found?
We found a lot of really important information out, particularly about the prevalence of trafficking within LGBTQ youth. They have a higher prevalence of being trafficked and exploited. Homeless youth are particularly vulnerable to trafficking because traffickers particularly seek them out and know where they can find these people and offer them like jobs and things that are too good to be true. And so we talked with the youth that we interviewed about different ways that the shelters that they're living in can provide opportunities for them to not have to resort to these sort of like shady work situations. So we found a lot about what they're looking for as far as prevention goes and reintegration into like their communities as well. So it was really helpful to have like their insight about what they're looking for.
Cool. Well, thanks for telling us about that. And the report comes out on Thursday?
The report is released already.
Released already,
yeah.
Perfect. So where can we find the research?
The research is available online on our report that's published on our website, modernslaveryresearch.org.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Back to you, Anthony and Danny.
And this topic is part of the Maroons' front page coverage this week.
Editor-in-Chief Starlight Williams joins us now from the newsroom with a preview.
That's right. The new research is on our front page this week. Modern-day slavery affects our nation more than you might think. Pick up a copy of the Maroon to help educate yourself on this ongoing problem. Plus, we got to sit down with the new provost to hear about the changes he plans to make at Loyola. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Starlight. It's a big weekend for outdoor events in Southeast Louisiana as Jazz Fest kicks off tomorrow.
Raymond Price joins us now with a look at the weekend forecast.
All right, everybody, first things first, let's take a look at your severe weather warnings in the area. We got none, so we can move on to our pollen forecast. So my folks with allergies, avoid pollen in these places. I want you to steer clear of the trees and the grass. So no oak, no ash, no pecan, no sedge. Like I always say, no shade formed against you shall prosper if you just leave the trees alone. Avoid an allergy flare-up also. Temperatures, we're looking at 78 at the lakefront, 76 over in Kenner. My folks in Gulfport, you're looking at about 76 also. Baton Rouge is up there chilling. They're looking at 77 degrees. But the feels like temperatures might differ throughout the areas. Lakefront, you're looking at 81, the sun's out, so it's nice and bright and warming things up. That's fine. Over in Boothville, we got 75. Taking you to tonight's forecast. Tonight we're looking at a 60% chance of thunderstorms, lows 67, highs 62, excuse me, lows 62, highs 67. So bring an umbrella, bring a raincoat, don't get wet. Take you now to your weekend forecast. Everyone wants to know. Thursday, we woke up fine, no hair frizzy, because we got less humidity today. Friday, first day of Jazz Fest, going to be super nice. Saturday, super nice also. Sundays, we're going to have to worry for Jazz Fest and Zurich Classic because we have a 70% chance of thunderstorms, so it might get rained out. Monday and Tuesday, we're back to nice temperatures, warm, clear. Wednesday, another chance of rain. So we'll see those thunderstorms picking back up. Anthony, Danny, back to you.
Coming up, it's not too often you see a football player in the ballet studio. See how this Tulane football star dances his way to success.
And another Tulane football player is expected to be picked up by a pro team. See what he's doing to prepare for the draft.
Tonight, the NFL kicks off its draft in Philadelphia.
Sports anchor Nick Ducote tells us why one Tulane student is in the spotlight and the big move the Saints made this week.
Thanks, guys. This week has been eventful leading up to the NFL draft. For Saints fans, it's been even more eye-raising with the signing of all-pro running back Adrian Peterson. Peterson currently sits on 16th on the all-time rushing list and has ran for over 11,000 yards in his NFL career. But he was injured for much of last season, with the Minnesota Vikings only playing in 3 games. Since his departure, he's gotten healthy and hungry. His addition to the black and gold definitely will help with the running game. He and Mark Ingram running together will surely be worth the price of a season ticket. And speaking of the draft, sports reporter Caroline Gonzalez takes us to Tulane with one player who NFL teams need to add to their roster.
Hard work and a desire to play are the two things that have carried Tanzel Smart this far. Now, the defensive tackle from Tulane University uses those same qualities in his preparation for the NFL draft. Kevin Peoples, defensive line coach for the Green Wave, says that along with his work ethic, Tanzel is explosive and quick off the line, making him a playmaker for any defense.
The thing that Tanzel does that most people don't do, though, is how hard he plays. And, you know, I've had people that have been in the NFL for 40 years that talk about that he's the hardest playing guy that they've seen in 40 years of defense lines.
The 6'1", 300-pound tackle is seen as undersized for his position, but his passion for every snap, along with his constant foot and hand speed, are making many coaches overlook his size. Tanzel says he's spoken to nearly every team in the league, though he does not have a preference on where he goes.
I'm just trying to get to the league, man. I'll go anywhere. You know, I feel like anywhere I go, I'll give them my all 100% every day.
Since the Senior Bowl, not much has changed for Tanzel. He continues to work hard and do the same things that got him here. With the NFL draft right around the corner, he awaits a phone call that will determine his NFL future. With Loyola News Service, I'm Caroline Gonzalez.
Tanzel was one of the best defensive linemen on Tulane teams last season, but he wasn't the only notable player that caused disruption. I got to talk with one returning player who's preparing for the season in an unconventional way.
Side Thomas, nowhere to go. Loss of 3. Ade Aruna.
This month's buzz has all been on Tulane players leaving for the NFL draft. Many forget about who's coming back to the team next season. One name that football fans should get used to is Ade Aruna.
What sticks out about Ade is just, you know, how fast and how big he is. I mean, he's 6'5". You know, he's going to run 4.6. I mean, he's physically superior to most defensive linemen. That's what sticks out.
Ade was one of the best defensive players on last year's team, and in order to prepare for this season, he's taking dance classes here at Tulane.
That's right, dance classes. It may seem odd, but players in the past, such as Lynn Swann, used this unconventional approach to hone their football technique.
I'm used to dancing since I was little, and that kind of helped me with my footwork on playing on the football too, so I kind of enjoyed it, even though it's kind of pain in the body a little bit.
Ade originally is from Nigeria and has been playing football for only 4 years, but Coach Kevin Peoples and the Green Wave already see the full potential in the young player.
But Ade can be a first-day draft pick next year in the NFL. I mean, he's got that ability, and I think what we've seen, his improvement on a regular basis, if he continues to improve like that, Ade can be a household name for many years to come in the NFL.
Ade and the Green Wave hope to bulldoze the competition and get into a bowl game next season. That's all for sports. Back to you, Anthony and Danny.
Coming up, a tell-all interview with one of our very own Loyola students as she prepares for her Jazz Fest performance.
Plus, a sneak peek of her Fairgrounds performance.
Yeah. Live life to the fullest. Live life to the fullest. Relive your
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Jazz Fest begins this weekend, and one of Loyola's own students will be on stage.
Reporter Cameron Hay sits down with Tracy Lee to discuss her Fairgrounds performance.
Hello, I'm Cameron Hay. Today I'm joined by Comm senior Tracy Lee. She's here to talk to us about her upcoming performances at Jazz Fest. How you doing, Tracy?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing good. So before we get into Jazz Fest, let's talk about your background here at Loyola. Like, what is your musical background here?
Well, at Loyola, I am a part of the Popular and Commercial Music degree. I sing in the a cappella ensemble group, and I am pursuing a solo career as a singer, as an artist.
So, have you done any performances locally or in and out of the city before?
Yes. I do a lot of gospel events. I do a lot of festivals, like what we have coming up, Jazz Festival. I do the Essence Festival. I do a lot of weddings and things of that. I sing a lot around the city.
So from our understanding, you have 6 different performances at Jazz Fest this year. How did that opportunity come about?
I mean, mostly networking, word of mouth. People, by me singing around the city, a lot of people hear about me, so my name gets around. And or sometimes it's through relationship and stuff like that, and before you know it, you're singing for a bunch of people.
So
It's
who all are
crazy.
you singing for?
There's Kristen Diabo, she's a country singer. There's Erica Falls, she's like a neo-soul funk singer. There's Trombone Shorty, he's big band, live music, he's really awesome. Then I have 2 gospel artists that I'm singing for, Kim Cherie and Jay Reed, and also I'm doing a set with Loyola with the a cappella ensemble.
So out of any of those people that you're working with, which one are you most excited to work with that you haven't worked with before?
I've never worked with Trombone Shorty before, so I looked at a couple of videos and how some of his concerts run, and it's like crazy. So I'm excited to be on the stage with him because it's a bunch of people.
And so what's next for Tracy Lee after Jazz Fest? What do you have in the future plans for you?
Okay, what's next for me is I'll be working on completing my EP by the end of this year. So I'll be recording in our studio at Loyola to make sure it gets completed.
And you're performing a song off of that EP for us. What's the name of it?
Yeah, the name of the song is called In a Blue Explosion, and accompanying me will be Dominic Minix on guitar.
Thanks for coming in today, Tracy. We look forward to hearing you perform your song in just a second, but back to you guys in the studio first.
Me personally, I can't wait to see Maroon 5. They single-handedly got me through my first breakup. What about you guys?
I'm going to say Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, yeah.
I'm excited to see Stevie Wonder because he didn't get to perform last year because it got rained out. What about you, Ray?
I'm ready for Lord and that mango freeze stand, honestly.
I'm coming with you to the mango freeze stand. I'm coming with you.
But before we leave, here's Tracy Lee to play us out.
Waking up every day, wondering when it's gonna be your turn. Just going through the motions, watching the clouds pass. Then suddenly, you get the urge to break free.